good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Mandalorian and Grogu, man. The first Star Wars movie in like 6 or 7 years since, Rise of Skywalker, which, first of all, I will say real quick, I feel like this was necessary to have such a long gap and being nothing but, and we having so many years of just the Disney Plus shows post Rise of Skywalker, because I will agree, and I remember some people mentioning this like around the time Rise of Skywalker, it might have been like right after that, Star Wars used to have like this magic. It was like an event whenever there was a new Star Wars movie after the original trilogy, because there was like, what, 10 years, 20 years or whatever, between, between Return of the Jedi and the start of the prequels of Phantom Menace, another like 10, 20 years, whatever, another 10 years or so between, Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens, and it may feel simple, but when they had them all coming out like almost annually with, of course, obviously the Star Wars story with Rogue One and Solo, it did make Star Wars start to lose some of that appeal and some of that, I guess, cachet or draw that it had before. So I think it was necessary that we had so many years of just the Disney Plus shows, and then finally Mandalorian Grogu. Now, to be fair, this movie isn't being treated like it is the next Star Wars one, because you guys know it was. I think it got #1, and then like the next week, like this week, it got dethroned by The Obsession, which I'm happy to see, man. I want to see that film. And you guys know I'm working with it now, so I haven't been able to see like the last like 40 minutes or so of the film. My God, it's an incredible film. I want to watch the entire thing, but with everything else coming out in June, I might have to wait till this one comes out on streaming to finally watch it in its full glory, man. But the film is fucking brilliant, man. It's fucking brilliant from what I've seen of it, man. I'm happy to see the movie's doing so well, and I look forward to watching the full thing at some point. It might have to be when it comes out on streaming, maybe somewhere I can, maybe if it, depending on how well it does the box, I might be able to squeeze it in at some point. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I do think this is necessary to have this movie, how there be such a massive gap, and I was happy to see there was a new Star Wars movie coming out. Now, on to my thoughts of the film itself. I personally love the film, man. I was very entertained. Is it the greatest Star Wars we ever made? No. Is it gonna be, I'll probably go back and rewatch, repeatedly? No. But I had an absolute blast watching it, and I was entertained from start to finish with this film, man. And yeah, also I will say, this film's poster game is on lock. I have not seen a single bad poster for this movie. All the posters have been good, whether the ones that I recently saw there, like where they're like, I say, the kind of like remaking the original posters, paying tribute to them, or just a standard posters from the film itself, man. All of them look fantastic. They all look incredible, man. Like this movie is one of those movies where like every poster is a banger, man. They don't miss with the posters for Mandalorian and Grogu, man. This was awesome. But yeah. Anyway, let's join us. The movie is written, of course, by Jon Favreau and stars Pedro Pascal, Jeremy Allen White, Sigourney Weaver, which obviously, as you guys may know. Wait, what the fuck? Marty's in this too? What the fuck? Why is he listed in the cast? Okay, I did not know Marty was in this one. Cool. Who the fuck is he playing? Anyway, but yeah, as a massive sci-fi fan, man, and I'm pretty sure this is my reaction to the trailers. I was so happy to finally see Sigourney make her Star Wars debut, man. She isn't in the film that much, man. She's a glorified cameo, but it was good to see her, man. It's good to see Sigourney finally make her entrance into Star Wars. But anyway, yeah, Sigourney Weaver, Steve Bloom is actually one of the rebels, which was pretty cool to see. I was kind of wondering if that was Steve Bloom. Well, I was watching the film, I was like, wait, is that Steve Bloom? Is that Steve Bloom? Is Steve Bloom in Star Wars? And it is, so good for him, man. Hey. Jeremy Allen White, and many more. In the plot of Mando and Grogu, the evil empire has fallen, but the Imperial warlords remain scattered throughout the galaxy as a fledgling New Republic works to protect everything the rebellion fought for. They enlist the help of the legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin and his young apprentice Grogu. Now, first of all, man, the cast I thought was pretty good, man. Obviously, of course, Pedro Pascal, great as always. So it seems like this is once again he wasn't actually the main suit actor. So they have a separate suit actor, and he was once again doing the voice for most of the film. Now, obviously, besides the scene where he gets unmatched, which you saw in the trailer, which seems to be an annual thing with Mandalorian. Every time we get a new something related to Mandalorian, whether it's Mandalorian seasons or this film, it's almost like it's like written into law at this point that he has to be unmasked at some point during this thing. I'm not sure if 100% 100% if he was also the suit actor for the first 2 seasons or if he wasn't for that as well. But I remember a lot of people mentioning about the fact that he never appeared on set for Mando season 3. He was just purely voiceover. So I don't know if this has always been a thing or just recently he's now just done the voiceover, not really done much, not actually been on set to actually wear the suit and whatnot outside when he's unmasked. But yeah, he's great, man. Steve Bloom, great as always, man. Once again, who the fuck is Marty playing? Like, why is he in the credits of this movie, man? Like, why is he here? Who does he play? Who does he play? Why is he listed on the credits on Google? And yeah, the rest of the cast that was pretty good as well, that we get to see from the various aliens and whatnot. Now, first of all, I gotta say, man, the opening of this film is incredible, man. Like, you've seen this from a lot of people mentioning this, and I would kind of have to agree that the opening, like, 10, 20 minutes is probably the best part of the movie, I would say, just from the fact that it's low-key Mandalorian meets John Wick in a sense, man. With the fight choreography in this film in general is fantastic, but it like really shines in the opening of the film, man, where he's like going against those Imperial, starting when he's going against the Imperial AT-ATs, going after one of the Imperial leaders that are scattered around the galaxy, man. That shit was fucking awesome, man. But the fight choreography in general for this film is phenomenal, man. It is fantastic. There's some really great fights here, man. And that's easily probably one of the best parts of the film is without a doubt the fight choreography in general, man. It's really fucking good. I also loved Grogu's animatronic. I'm not sure if this is true, but he felt like it was way more expressive in this movie compared to what we saw in season 3 and previous seasons. I could be wrong though. I haven't gone back and seen the earlier seasons of Mandalorian since they aired, but watching the film, it felt like his animatronic was a lot more expressive and a lot more detailed because he was doing a lot of stuff in the movie. Like Grogu gets a lot of screen time here where you get to see him moving around, expressing and giving varying expressions and whatnot, man. Grogu does a lot in this film, man. And it was really cool to see him. The animatronic work on him was fantastic. The cinematography in this movie is also really good, I have to say, man. I'm not saying it's as good that this movie should get nominated for best cinematography, but like, especially in like the first half of the film, and once they're like in like this like random, like I think they're like on a separate moon looking for another person to get into contact when they're working with when Mando has to work with the Hutts to retrieve someone. And that whole segment where we're on that planet, man, which is like very grounded, dingy, kind of like what we saw in Andor and whatnot, man, with like that whole cyberpunk sort of aesthetic, man, like Terminator and whatnot, man. That stuff looked really good. That whole sequence looked amazing as well, man. But especially the alignment, that sequence in particular looked really fucking good. The soundtrack as well, I have to say, is phenomenal, man. This was once again composed by Ludwig. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, who I believe also did the Mandalorian show. If I'm not mistaken, let me Google this real quick to see if he was also the composer for the show or if it was someone else. Let's see. Yeah. Ludwig was also the composer for this series as well. And I gotta say, man, this is probably the best Star Wars score since John Williams had retired, I would say, man. Because there are a lot of really cool songs in this movie, man, especially during the end credits, which is one thing I will, when I was listening, when I would, like, I work in theater now, when I would clean theaters, listen to the soundtrack of the film while the credits were playing, man, there were some banger tracks, which I was looking forward to hearing them in the actual film when I actually got to watch it, man, and, like, yeah, there's a lot of banger tracks here, man. This might be the best Star Wars score we've got since John Williams had retirement. It's really fucking good, I have to say. But anyway, as I was saying, one thing that was weird, and I don't know if any of you guys that work in movie theaters or you guys that watched the film as well saw, but like, there was a weird amount of people that would be staying all the way through the credits, especially there's some post-credit scene, and I'm like, in Star Wars near 50 years, they've never done that, so I don't know why you assume they would start now. That I thought was very weird, when there would be a good number of people that would unironically stay throughout the entire credits, man, which I thought was a little bizarre. I'm like, it's a Star Wars, but this ain't Marvel, there's nothing there. Not even the Disney Plus shows this. I don't know why y'all are thinking this movie would start. That I thought was very, very weird, man. Very, very weird. There's a couple other things I thought this movie does really cool, man, that we'll obviously save for spoiler discussion, man. But one of them, I will say, man, it was cool to learn more about the Hutts. And we get to see, I don't know if they said their home world, but how they live in their palace and whatnot, man. What's made out of, man. And it's as disgusting as you would think the Hutts would live. And it was pretty cool to see, man. Now, I always love when we get to see new lore aspects to already pre-existing characters. Now, I'm sure some of this might have already been shown off in novels and whatnot, because you guys know how expansive Star Wars EU is. But as someone that basically only watches the movies and dabbles a little bit here and there with video games, if it's in the Disney Plus shows, maybe I'll read a comic comic here and there. This is all new to me, and it was pretty fucking cool to see how this works. So we have that, man. There's also this new bounty hunter that we get into the film, who is very cool, man. I love his design, man. I don't think we ever learn his name or anything, man, which is definitely probably my main big problem with the film, is that they introduce this cool bounty hunter, but we learn nothing about him. Like, we don't get his name, nothing. I'm sure, I don't know if they're gonna save to give that information in some random comic or something, but I wanted to know more about this guy. I want to know who he is. You know, where he come from, man. Something. Give me something on this dude. He's so fucking cool. And when him and Mando are fighting, man, it's fucking awesome, man. Seriously. It's fucking awesome. There's a couple of things I want to talk about that's going to be saved for Sports Discussion, man. Also, one thing that I thought was good that got a chuckle out of me is actually Dave Filoni actually has a couple cameos in here. Like, straight up Dave Filoni. I was like, oh, hey, Dave. Like, is that a thing with him? Is this like he's been doing beforehand? Like, because I'm pretty sure I don't remember him making any cameos in, like, Ahsoka or something. So I don't know if this is something that's already that's like a thing with him, or this is the first time he's ever had a cameo or something in Star Wars. Like, if any of you guys know for sure, leave it down below in the comments, man. Because that got a chuckle at me and kind of caught me off guard when I saw Dave Filoni in the background of a shot. But yeah, he wasn't wearing his cowboy hat, if you were wondering. He wasn't wearing it. But yeah, man. I think that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, my main problem with this. Now, a lot of people have also mentioned that this movie really didn't need to be a movie. It could have just been Mandalorian Season 4, which I would agree to a certain extent. That, like, this movie doesn't really set up nothing. We don't get any mention of, you know, with Grand Admiral Thrawn. There's no real setup to him for him as the big bad or whatever. Just set up another movie or whatever. This is without doubt a Mandalorian. And sure, you could make an argument that it should have just been Season 4 instead of its own movie, but. Hey, either way, man, I still had a blast watching it, man, but I really wish we learned more about the bounty hunter, man. That bounty hunter was so cool, man. I wish we learned more about him, man. He was so fucking cool. Anyway, guys, we'll give this movie a 9 out of 10, guys. So now we'll get into spoiler discussion, man. So you guys, if you haven't seen the movie and don't want to get spoiled, leave now. For everyone else, let's jump right in. So, we find out that, and I think bits of this was in the trailer, but I don't think they ever really mentioned it specifically, we find out that the Hutts have Mando going tracking their, like, nephew or one of their family members that is the son of Jabba, who you guys may remember we saw as a baby in the Clone Wars movie. Which, and I remember when I was watching the film, like, wait, is that the dude from the Clone Wars movie? Wait, is that him? And then when we progressed on, we mentioned he's Jabba's that he's Jabba's dad, and I'm like, oh, or Jabba's son, excuse me. And I'm like, oh shit, that's him. That's the kid from the Clone Wars movie. And god damn it, bro, this man got swole. This dude is built like Wilson Fisk. He is fucking massive. He's working as like a gladiator on this plan where Mando has to go look for a man. It was pretty fucking cool, man, to see that. It was kind of cool to see him again, man. But I did not think bro got so big, man. Like, I also did it was kind of sad that they, like, mentioned there was, like, no mention of the Clone Wars movie. Like, he never mentioned anything about being saved by Anakin or Ahsoka. Like, to be fair, was a baby, so he probably doesn't remember any of that shit. But, like, you know, a little bit of reference to the Clone Wars movie would have been cool. Hell, maybe even, like, recreate some scenes from the movie in this with you know, Hayden and, you know, the actors they picked for Ahsoka. I think that would have been sick, not gonna lie. That would have been sick, but that's probably a bit out of scope of me. But, like, I think it would have been cool if they actually, like, mentioned something about the Clone Wars movie. But it was pretty cool to see him nonetheless, man. I was kind of surprised to see when he was in there. Oh, and we also learned that actually Grogu actually knows how to use Force Heal, which I'm sure there's gonna be some people be like, oh, you can play about this one, you can play about Rey, whatever. But, like, I will say it makes way more sense for him to know Force Heal compared to Rey, because now I don't know if how much is known about Yoda's actual species or even have a name for them, whether in canon or in Legends material. But given how powerful Yoda was with the Force, I think it's safe to assume that I'm guessing his species in general has a very deep connection with the Force, whatever, which is probably why he can Force heal. But I thought that was interesting. And also that was easier. That made more sense to me than like Rey randomly being able to do it, you know, in the Force and you know, Rise of Skywalker. We can see a lot of him use the Force. Like, there's this one scene when Mando gets poisoned by this creature that the Hutts have beneath them, similar to the Goro in Return of the Jedi. when Mando gets out of there, man, he builds basically his own little hut for him to keep him hidden from the droids and whatever, patrolling around the place looking for him. But there's this one scene where he's trying to push him in, but he doesn't go in all the way because his legs are sticking out. And Grogu guy like tries to keep pushing it in front. And it reminded me, love that scene from The Incredibles when Mr. Incredible is getting thrown into the pod, but he's fat, so he doesn't fit in there. So it's just like they like twists it up and then finally sucks him in. It reminded me a lot of that scene, but minus him actually going in all the way. That scene got a few laughs out of me, man. Seeing Grogu learn more about the Force and we see him using it more often, man, was pretty cool to see, man. And just in general, the movie really focuses on their relationship as a whole, and I thought it was really nice to see, man. But yeah, that's about everything I got for you guys. I can think of on the top of my head, man. I personally love the film. Oh, and also, if you guys can see the film in 3D, I would actually recommend you guys go see it in 3D, because I remember I saw listings for this for coming on IMAX 3D and 3D when I was at Hookie as well. It's like, oh, okay. And after watching the film, I would actually say that this is the other one where I felt the 3D would actually, where this is a film where the 3D would actually enhance the film, man, just judging from how it looked. It seemed like this movie would actually look pretty good in 3D. So if you guys can see a movie in IMAX 3D or just real 3D in general, I'd recommend you guys go check it out, man, because this movie would actually look really good in 3D. It would actually really enhance the film. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. You like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow us if you like it. Links are down below, and as always, subscribe for more. See you guys next time.